It's a beautiful, beautiful day. In the Tennessee fall. And the leaves are falling. And I've got something to say. The thing I have to say is that we have been raised up in a Christianity that has a problem in it. Look at how beautiful. Common persimmon tree. Southern crabapple. We have been raised in a Christianity that has a big problem in it. We need to study what ecclesia is. What is ecclesia? Study what ecclesia is. Ecclesia is a group of friends who are so courageous. They are so courageous in keeping themselves pure, like our friend, before God and before one another, monitoring our lives and lifestyles together, asking the question of whether we are using our assets and our time the most efficiently. If you have discovered some amazing truths that people aren't aware of, it's good for you to travel and meet as many people as possible so that perhaps one of the people that you meet out of hundreds or thousands might actually hold on to the wisdom or the truth that would help them and that would help their own children and their friends. I lived for 40 years with atmospheres of ignorance. I wasn't aware of spirit beings and how they affect us. I wasn't aware of how to control and monitor in a pleasant and realistic way the feel good of the body, the arousal. I didn't get coaching or training in that. And then when I was 36 years old, I got some coaching and training in that. And no one ever showed me the proofs that we've had this wonderful supernatural visitor. What are the 3 proofs that those writings are valuable? The Hebrew scriptures have 200 to 300 predictions in them that point to the coming of a supernatural visitor. Not an earthquake, not a government, not a cataclysmic world event, but just a single person who becomes the cataclysmic world event. The Hebrew scriptures, what they call the Old Testament, the Tanakh, has 200 to 300 predictions in it. And then you have the life and teachings of the supernatural visitor, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. But then you have, from Acts to Revelation, the first peoples to receive the powers of Jesus of Nazareth and to follow his personal teachings that he taught in his resurrection form. There are 3 wonderful ministry groups operating in the world. I want to introduce you to Zume Project, Zume. Project, zumeproject.com, Z-U-M-E, zumeproject.com. Go look it up. And also the connection with Zume Project to a fellow named Curtis Sargent. Curtis Sargent. Curtis Sargent was troubled when he visited an island in China, and there were no people there who had a relationship with the invisible supernatural visitor, Yeshua of Nazareth, Jesus Christ. And by the guidance of the Holy Spirit, Curtis Sargent ended up helping an entire population of peoples to come to the enjoyment and peace and difficulty of Jesus of Nazareth. Remember in Acts chapter 8, all of Samaria were baptized. There's a way of presenting things that causes people to say, yes, I would prefer to be safe, and I would prefer to be empowered by the power of the Holy Spirit. So the multiplication ministry of Zume Project and Curtis Sargent is quite spectacular. Do your research. Download the Zume Project workbook. It is loaded with all kinds of neat stuff, spiritual adventures that you can do. Zume Project workbook is on the Zume Project website. So that's one, the multiplication in the homes ministries. Number two, the Miracles on the Street ministries. Torben Sondergaard, that's two A's. The Last Reformation. Torben, T-O-R-B-E-N, Sondergaard, S-O-N-D-A-R-G-A-A-R-D, Torben Sondergaard. Now, when you look up Torben Sondergaard, there will be plenty of negative commentaries about the guy on the web. But as well as that, if you study his life, he fasted and prayed for 40 days. He was frustrated with standard church. He kept going out and praying for people for healing, and they didn't get healed. And then after his fasting 40 days and 40 nights, God sent him somewhere on a train, and he stepped off the train. He prayed for a guy, and the guy got instantly healed. So Torben Sondergaard was granted the going out and healing power of Jesus Christ. But remember, Jesus says, which is more important, that somebody gets healed or that their soul is forgiven and received to eternity? If you go out and heal, but you do not teach the people how to be ecclesia, which means the called out ones. You can go out and do miracles, and you can baptize people and declare that they're saved and see that they get filled with the Holy Spirit. But the maintenance of souls is another thing entirely, and that's what ecclesia is all about, the called out ones. So, multiplication in the homes ministry, Miracles on the Street ministry, Torben Sondergaard, Fielding Go Harvest. Fielding Go Harvest. Tom Loud, L-O-U-D. And many others. Miracles on the Street ministry. Multiplication in the Home ministry. Curtis Sargent. zumeproject.com. And then there's another group of people who study the early disciples of Jesus. Scrollpublishing.com and YouTube, Scroll Publishing. I encourage everyone to buy the book called A Dictionary of Early Christian Beliefs. Many comments and commentaries by the early Christians on various topics that you would ask them about, from baptism to demons to Greek philosophy to 700 different topics. A Dictionary of Early Christian Beliefs is one of the greatest gifts that has been given to modern Christianity by the work of a simple researcher fellow who used to be a title lawyer in Texas, a fellow named David Berceau, B-E-R-C-O-T. It's not Bercot, it's Berceau. It's a French name. David Berceau. A Dictionary of Early Christian Beliefs. And there are other outfits that are studying the early Christian writings. Miracles on the Street Ministries, Multiplication in Home Ministries, Early Christian Disciple Life, Early Christian Life and Practice. And then my personal ministry is Honesty and Communion, and the concept of true ecclesia, which is all those things. We, as true ecclesia, meeting together as a group of friends, staying completely honest about all the standard stuff, including our thoughts, including the physical arousal. If you can't talk about ordinary visible stuff, how the heck are you going to be able to discern spirits who operate more in omissive sins? They get you to avoid things that you could be doing. They get you to avoid certain situations and atmospheres. So my offering to the world, and Father has said to me that I should write a special gift and treatise and guidance for Smith Wigglesworth and for Derek Prince and for all the various other great teachers, Oswald Chambers, to literally write to them the things that I've discovered from spending so much time in research. So that puts a little bit on your plate. If you've been taking notes, there are a lot of things that I've spoken of that you can research. The two things that I like to remind people in the simple day-to-day human life where people are happy together and happy and loving towards the Spirit who made us, in the life of little Jesus of Nazareth and his friends, the male human beings, had two responsibilities that were enormous and intense. Just meditate on this. Two things, write them down. 10 men present together, 10 men gathered together every morning to speak a peace and blessing over the world. You can't begin the morning prayer to bless the world, to fix the world with the mercy and kindness of God. You can't make the morning prayer until there are 10 men present in one place every single day. So that's number one. 10 men must be dedicated to gathering together every day. Number two, whenever the male human being has a flow of his seed, which is you are the flow from a man. You are the seed of a man. Whenever a man has a flow of seed, he lets the family know that their blood, their life essence has flowed, because we are all one organism. Male form, female form, one organism with two parts. And then the great respect and care for the ones that are born in woman form. Oh my gosh. The women deserve triple grace. The women deserve 14 days of focused blessing from the men and from the family in their season of fertility. Read between the lines in Leviticus 12 and in Leviticus 15. Leviticus 12 and Leviticus 15. Find the love in Leviticus. There's a spirit that says to you, the woman should receive special care and attention and love and blessing for 14 days out of each month. That's pretty cool. That's pretty marvelous. Care for those born in the female form. Yippee! It's a beautiful day. The Tennessee beautiful tree color.